Hi, my name is D.A. Derillo, and I'm the author of The Secret Notebook. But today, for World Read Aloud Day, I am going to be reading from one of the funniest middle grade books called Ungifted by Gorman Corman. Chapter 1. I want a refund from Ancestry.com. They trace my family all the way back to the Revolution, and in all those forefathers and foremothers, aunts, uncles, and cousins, there was nobody like me. No big mouth hung for treason. No class clown who they stuck in the stocks and threw rotten vegetables at. The closest match was this guy in the Civil War who jumped off a battlement, whatever that is. And he only did it because the Union Army was firing on Fort Sumter. That's what they put on his tombstone anyways. It sounds like a pretty good excuse to me. I did things like that. If there were any battlements in my neighborhood, I'd probably jump off all of them. And not because of any army. I'd do it just to see what would happen. Reckless, my mother called me. Poor impulse control. That's my school psychologist. You're going to break your idiot neck one day, or someone's going to break it for you. My dad. He was probably right. They were all right. But when the thing is right in front of me, and I can kick it, grab it, shout at it, jump into it, paint it, launch it, or light it on fire, it's like I'm a puppet on a string, powerless to resist. I don't think. I do. That is from Ungifted by Gorman Corman.
Hi, my name is Sherry Ellis, and I'm the author of Bubba and Squirt's Big Dig to China. For Read Aloud Day, I'm going to read from another book, and it's called Creepy and True: Ghosts Unveiled. It's by my friend Carrie Logan Holohan, who lives in Cincinnati. Here we go. The saddest ghost ever. It ghosts without saying that Abraham Lincoln haunts the White House. Every part of Lincoln's life was touched with sadness. At a young age, he lost his mother, followed later by his sweetheart and two of his sons. His wife, Mary Todd Lincoln, was deeply troubled, and Lincoln suffered with her. In April 1865, he was assassinated just as he looked forward to binding up the nation's wounds after the Civil War. Lincoln's ghost is said to show up in times of national crisis. The Washington Herald said in 1913 that Lincoln is always seen walking up the stairs. It is impossible to mistake his tall, awkward figure with shambling gait. When he gets to the top, he looks around, smiles sadly, and disappears. Lincoln's preferred spot made sense. In 1913, the presidential offices were on the second floor, accessed by a double flight of stairs. Today, Lincoln's ghost haunts the Lincoln bedroom, the most famous bedroom in the White House. The room once served as the president's study. It didn't take its current name until Harry Truman was in office. A giant, heavy bed of dark wood was moved there, along with other heavy carved Victorian furniture that was popular in the mid-1800s. The irony is that the president probably never slept in that bed, but the room was made a perfect landing pad for ghosts. So who are the famous folks who met Lincoln's ghost? Queen Wilhelmina of the Netherlands, for one, who slept in the Lincoln bedroom during a White House visit during World War II. She heard a knock on the door and opened it, only to meet the ghost. The Queen, whose bravery during the war was unquestioned, fainted dead away. Supposedly, Queen Wilhelmina asked for a different room during her next visits. In the 2000s, Barbara and Jenna Bush, twin daughters of President George W. Bush, were college students when their dad was in office. The Bush girls made frequent visits to the White House. In a double interview later, the twins revealed that, more than once, music played through old fireplaces in the rooms where they slept. Once it was a woman singing opera, and another time 1920s jazz. The hair on the back of our neck was standing up, Jenna Bush recalled. So that is a true story from Ghosts Unveiled. And you can read it and find other really cool nonfiction stories.
Hi, I'm Lisa Lewis Tyre, author of Last in a Long Line of Rebels and Hope in the Holler. I'm actually going to be reading a book from someone you just met, D.A. DeRilio, the first chapter of The Secret Notebook. Truth or Lie Detector. The train into D.C. smelled like perfume and coffee breath, but at least Mom and I had a seat. My presentation board bumped around on my lap. I held on tight, protecting it from getting damaged. Today, I was revealing my newfound talent to the class. Ever since I could remember, I'd been trying out potential talents with disastrous results. Dance, too tall and lanky. Softball, strike zone too big. Soccer, can't use my hands. Magician, I don't want to talk about it. Competitive kite flying, you definitely don't want to know. I agonized over what my thing could be. It had to be something cool, something unique, something I could own. Finally, my class took a field trip to the Spy Museum, and I was the only one who completed the simulated spy mission. That had to be it. I was obviously talented at spy stuff. I especially liked the gadgets and technology for solving crimes, so for this year's invention convention, I had created a lie detector pen. The idea came to me when I found out that when someone writes down a lie, their handwriting changes. It was true. I did the research, and I was happy to say my pen could bust liars. My right leg shook with nervous energy, which made no sense at all. Energy, by definition, is another word for power. I wasn't powering anything with my shaky leg, although I could probably start an engine with the amount of movement going on. I was trying to release energy, and somehow that seemed to help. Mom quickly picked up on my nervous habit. "Don't worry, Riley, your invention is terrific," she said, expertly balancing her coffee while scrolling through the news on her phone. I could use one of those lie detector pens around the office. "Really? You think you might catch someone lying?" "You never know." She wiggled her eyebrows. Mom was an administrative assistant for a high-ranking senator, and she knew everything that went on in her office. Maybe my lie detector pen would help her to know even more. I wish I had a better prototype to show the class. All I have is this taped-up pen with a mood sensor on the outside. "You'll do fine," she patted my leg. The train stopped and a gust of cold air blew in with new commuters. I pulled the skirt of my school uniform down to my shins, but it didn't help much. "Come on, people, hurry up." I wanted to have enough time to test my invention on my friend Henry before school. He was probably incapable of lying, but I wanted to know for sure. Plus, I thought of a great question to ask him. The chimes of the metro rail rang, and a recorded voice came over the loudspeaker. "Next stop, Union Station. Doors opening. Step back to allow passengers to exit." Mom and I marched along with the crowd to the corner of Constitution and First, passing busloads of enthusiastic tourists ready for a long day of sightseeing. Henry was waiting in our usual meeting spot in front of the Senate office building. He was staring at his cell phone and snapping his lucky orange wristband. He never took that thing off, even though it was filthy, and whatever inspirational message was on it had worn off years before. I gave Mom a quick hug before she headed off to work. "Have a good day, kids. Only 2 more days until spring break," she said. Henry waved. "Bye, Ms. Green." We took the same route every day, 1 block down First Street, past the Supreme Court building and Library of Congress, then straight to school. "Let's stop for a minute. I want you to test my lie detector pen." "Why?" Because I need another handwriting sample," I said, scratching my nose. "You're not going to catch me in a lie. Besides, my handwriting is so sloppy you wouldn't be able to read it anyway." He had a point, but it's worth a try. "Come on, I'll tell you what to write." I stopped at a nearby bench and handed Henry my lie detector pen and notebook. "First write, my name is Henry Marino, and I'm in 6th grade at Washington Prep Academy." Henry huffed, but wrote it anyways. "Now write, my name is Maximus, and I think Riley is super dumb and annoying." I hoped this was a lie. "Ha," he blurted out. "Really, Riley?" "Just write it, please. It's for research." I crossed my fingers behind my back. Henry wrote one line under the other, and I compared the 2 handwriting samples. Relief bubbled up inside and burst out in a smile. "Aha! You lied. You don't think I'm dumb and annoying, which means you think I'm smart." "And annoying, but only sometimes," Henry said. "That's not what your handwriting shows. See how the letters are taller in the second sentence and the writing is darker? That's a sure indication of a lie. If this pen was the actual finished product, it would have a computer chip inside that could detect all the subtle details." I nodded, looking for him to agree with me, but he looked blank. "On top of that, the mood sensor on the outside turned from blue to brown, which means you were uncomfortable writing this." Henry pushed his glasses up the rim of his nose and studied the 2 handwriting samples. "That's cool," he said. "Heck yeah, it's cool. I put the notebook back in the bag. With any luck, I'll be chosen for the State Invention Convention, and someone from the FBI will be there and offer me $1 million for my idea. Or even better, make me a junior agent. That would be amazing, but not likely, said Henry. It could happen. Hey, I was allowed to dream. Are you still keeping your invention a secret? I peeked at the large black bag Henry held at his side. Yep, you'll have to wait for Dr. Schwartz's class. It's pretty awesome, Henry said. It doesn't explode, does it? No, it's way better than that, he answered. I just hate getting up in front of the class. I'm so bad at it. No matter how many times I practice, it never gets any easier. Really? I didn't think you were that shy, I said, surprised. I'm not shy around people I know. It's crowds, he said. It's hard to explain. Well, I'll applaud for you, I promised. Henry smiled. Thanks. We sprinted up the white marble steps of our school, the outside of which was surrounded by tall columns. Columns were a big thing in Washington, D.C. Most buildings had at least a few, probably because they looked strong and intimidating. I have to stop by the orchestra room, Henry said. I'll meet you in class. He hurried off toward the music department. Okay, but I bet my invention is better than yours. I called after him as I headed to first period STEM class. The school still had that morning quiet before the storm of kids come rumbling in. Down the hall, my favorite teacher unlocked her classroom door. Dr. Schwartz was easy to spot. She had one long streak of gray and a head full of black, curly hair, like she'd been bitten by a zombie skunk. I thought it made her look smart and sophisticated. She liked to call me her apprentice, and I didn't mind that at all. I wish I had STEM last period so I could have something to look forward to all day. I hurried to catch up. Hi, Dr. Schwartz. Good morning, Riley. She flipped on the lights. We both froze. It looked as though a tornado had ripped through her classroom in the middle of the night. Papers were scattered across the floor, chairs toppled over, and every drawer and filing cabinet emptied. Dr. Schwartz covered her heart as if it might jump out of her chest. Her perfect classroom was a complete disaster. Who could have done this? I asked in a whisper. She shook her head slowly, as if it hurt to move. We stepped over books and debris. Dr. Schwartz stopped in the middle of the wreckage. I followed her stare to the whiteboard. Written in red marker were the words, cease and desist or die. It's a great mystery by D.A. DeRilio, The Secret Notebook. Hope you enjoyed. Keep reading.